All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Cheers. 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 Let me get situated. I'm so excited about today's episode. Like, let me get comfy cozy with you guys. I need a thing. I need to get a side table. I need to get a side table, and I have one over here that I could probably use. Yeah, I don't know why I don't use that thing. Okay, we're gonna figure it out. You know me. I'm such a Virgo. I want to move everything around. Again, once I sit down, ready to record, I am ready to reorganize. Okay. All right. Today, we have a good episode. Aiden's here. So, I got 3 cameras going. Let's see which one is going to die first. I have a feeling it's going to be this one. And then it's going to be that one. And then it's going to be this one. So let's get it cracking because I ain't got all day. I got shit to do. I still want to go run while maybe I'll get up early and run tomorrow. I can't be doing that, man. This wine is good. This makes me want to go buy another bottle. I'm not even kidding. Like, this makes me weak in the knees. Okay, ready? And 1, 2, 3. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Single on the Rocks. I am your host, Locastillo, and we are here for a good time, not a long time. Did you miss me? I missed you guys. Like, missing a week is never like, I always feel like it's good to kind of like take breaks in between and like recoup and make sure you're still on the same page with yourself, which seems really, really, really dramatic. But that's kind of like that's kind of like the vibe. So I was like, okay, I didn't put out an episode this past Friday, and I was like, what am I doing? I can't go 2 weeks without an episode. I've been working on some stuff. I've been learning some new stuff. So it's kind of just taking my time away from me, and I'm sorry, but I just finished filming a episode where I am showing you how to set up your own podcast. The equipment that I use, the cameras that I use, everything that I use is budget friendly, but also with some exceptions to the cameras, because those are always going to be a little expensive if you want a professional camera. But with today's day and age, I feel like everybody has invested in cameras. There's some pretty good cheaper version quality cameras that a lot of people use to take pictures and stuff like that. Even like some people have even invested in like camcorders because they like that vibe. So kudos to you guys. But Sasha, do you have to lick yourself while I'm filming? Like, we have to do this every single time. I feel like it wouldn't be an episode without Sasha licking herself, because then what would Single on the Rocks be? We're all licking ourselves because we are lonely. Well, cheers to you guys. I am drinking red wine, semi-sweet red wine. I love a good semi-sweet red wine. I love a good Malbec with some steak. Oh my god. Like that one gets me going. That makes me really want a steak right now. It's 5:40. I haven't eaten lunch, and it's dinner time, and I would love a good steak. Oh my god, I would love a good steak with some red wine. And some like loaded mashed potatoes. Some like bacon mac and cheese, baked mac and cheese. Oh my god. This is why I can never get my fitness together. Anyways, all right. So let's do a follow-up. What have I been up to? What's been going on? Let's get into a follow-up. Let's get into a follow-up. But before I do that, make sure you're following me down below. Let's connect. I also am working on a website. Shout out to Kim, my homegirl Kim. She has a podcast on the come up. I've been on her show. I've been on her podcast twice, and it's always a good time. I love her. I'll have her channel down below, and the links to our episodes together also down below. So check her out. And because I have been thinking about getting a website for the podcast, but it really wasn't like on the front burner for me. So she put one together and I was like, oh my God, she's so right. Like, yes, you definitely want to get like a podcast. Like, you definitely want to get a podcast, even like kind of do like a little bit of a blog in a way. So I'm working on that right now, but of course, like, I do everything myself. When I say I'm a one-woman show, like, I am literally a one-woman show. Like, I put everything together on my own. So I like to take my time with things, because sometimes, as the Virgo that I am, a font could hold me up. Like, I'm telling you, like, I don't like that font. I think I'm gonna take a month to think about that, like that type, you know. So I'm working on that, guys. And yeah, so shout out to Kim. I will have everything linked down below, and you should definitely check her out and go follow her, because she has some really great interviews with some upcoming and also some thriving people in the TV business, and also in the music industry and stuff like that. So shout out to her, Miss Kimberly. I love that name. You know, I was gonna name my daughter, if I was to have a daughter, I was gonna name her Kim. Maybe that's what, like, I also loved Kim in the Pink Power Rangers. Like, I was always a Pink Power Ranger. Like, that was my thing. So I love her name, Miss Kim. Let's jump into what I've been watching. Let's jump into, did I join the Love Island cult? Yes. Straight up. Yes. I definitely joined the Love Island cult. It's been such a good ride. Tonight is the season finale. So by the time this goes up, y'all will obviously already know who won. But here's my prediction. Okay, here is my prediction on who is going to be the ranking from 4th place to the winner. Here is my prediction. It's going to be Huda and Chris. I think it's going to be Pepe and Iris, Nick and Olandria, and I think Amaya, Papaya, and Brian are going to be the winners. Like, that is my prediction. Amaya, Papaya, and Brian are going to be the winners of Love Island. And I think it's going to be Nick and Olandria. I feel like Nick and Olandria and Iris and Pepe are like, they could be like head to head for that second place. But I think it's going to be Nick and Olandria, because I feel like ever since Nick and Olandria got together, I feel like America has like really enjoyed it. I feel like they've enjoyed that journey with them. And I think that ever since Sierra left, I think they really embraced them. And I think that Pepe and Iris are going to be 3rd place, and then Chris and Huda. I'd be really surprised if Chris and Huda. I like Huda. I think she's got some flaws, but I do like Huda, because she's like the everyday, like, she's very relatable to people, to girls and females that are like, you know, trying to figure out how to be healthy in relationships, how to you know, I think she's ultimately, as a single mother, you have to grow up quick, but I also think that sometimes you forget how to so mature in relationships, you can mature as an adult when you have a child. Like, that is a different type of mature. But I think in a relationship, you have to develop and have experiences with somebody or people in different relationships in order to build that emotional maturity. I and you know that could be a very unpopular opinion, but as a single mother, who was a single mother by the age of 18, I think that I was mature as a mother, but I think that I didn't have the experiences in a relationship as a woman, because I was 18. Was I technically a woman? I mean, yeah, but a woman mindset, no. I think I was very much still a child in a mindset. I was a child raising children. And so I think that you grow up as a mother. I think you know that, okay, I need to put my kids first. It's no longer about me. I need to make sure that I take care of these kids and make sure they're alive and stuff like that. But when you're in relationships, I think sometimes you can be mentally immature because you just don't know. You don't have that same mindset. So I mean, sometimes it clicks for people and sometimes it just doesn't, because I think that when you have kids, you feel yourself as like almost like it's a strike against you versus somebody who doesn't have kids. So it's like you almost have to work a little bit harder than the rest. In reality, no, baby, you don't. You don't. They want you. They want you. If they don't, they don't. You know, if you want me, you also got to want these hooligans behind me. Like, that's what it is. So I think that you got to kind of give her a little bit of grace. A lot of people can come for her, but also everybody has a different journey. So, you know, I think her and Chris have something really, really, it could grow into something really special. But I also think that she's also unsure of like her moves. So it's kind of like, it's very relatable to me, but at the same time, like, you know, when you are ahead of somebody else maturity wise, you're just like, that is just the stupidest thing. You know, that's where we can start to try to judgment people. And it's like, you got to give some people some grace. Like, until you have kids at that age, I mean, young, her daughter's 4. So she had her at 20. You don't know, you know what I mean? You're a baby still. You can say whatever you want. You're still a fucking baby. So yeah, I would be surprised if they're ranked higher, but I do like them. I think Chris is really patient with her, and I think it could grow into something really beautiful. But I think that she has to, like, also, you know, I think she's doing the work. And but on this show, I would be surprised if she's ranked higher. If she is, good for her. Good for them. Okay. Enough of that. I think I spent like 10 minutes just talking about Love Island, but I really like it. So yeah, that's my prediction. That is my prediction for tonight's episode. And I feel like I'm right. I feel good about it. So, okay. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's tonight. I'm excited. I might even I'm gonna watch it, and then I'm gonna be like, I might like share a story about it. I feel good about it. If I'm right, I'm a psychic. If I'm right, I'm psychic or have psychic powers. Like, there's just no doubt about it. I have psychic powers. I will have psychic powers. Which means I should probably play the lottery the next day. If I'm right tonight, I'm playing the lottery. Because when you're right about something like that, you got good juju. You got good juju, and you need to like go on, keep it flowing, keep it going. You know what I mean? Like, don't let that good juju go to waste, for sure. Okay. So now that we caught up about that, let's kind of get into today's episode. I feel like today's episode is very relatable, and it kind of falls into the whole like momhood. So if you're not a mom, that's okay. You're still welcome to watch the episode. But this is going to be a little bit more geared to women who are kind of going through the empty nesting phase. Like they're becoming empty nesters and they're still single. Oh my God. And they're still single and they're single. Not and they're still single. That's me. Oh my God. This is literally, I'm speaking about myself. In all these episodes, I'm literally like, when I talk, I feel like it's because I'm like talking about my own experiences. I'm talking about like what I'm going through or what I've seen other people go through. Like these are my own experiences. Like I've said in my other videos, like I never speak on something that I don't know anything about. So these are like my experiences, and why I'm talking about like momhood, becoming empty nesters, is because I'm becoming an empty nester. Like I am becoming an empty nester. Like my kids are grown and my oldest son doesn't live here. My youngest son does, but he is about to be 20. Like he's about to be out the door in his own life. So anyways, yeah, like I'm becoming an empty nester soon. I feel like this is a really good, relatable topic to women. A lot of people don't realize that my age, the age that I am, because I kind of dress and I kind of act younger than what I am. But that's just because I feel young. Like, that's just because I feel young. You have to remember when I had kids, like I obviously, like I said, you have to grow. You have to, you have to mature early on when you have kids, and you kind of miss out on a lot of things. So I feel like at my grown age, I am living my wildest dreams. I'm like doing my wildest shit, and it's okay because your girl grown. So okay, so yeah, today's episode it's for the women who, gave their all to motherhood, and they're now standing on this new, slightly weird, kind of freeing chapter. And that's kind of what I'm on right now. So I definitely want to go through that with you guys. Adjusting to quiet mornings, routines, rediscovering your identity as a person and not just as a mom. Sometimes I feel like, there's women that, their identity becomes just mom. They're just the mom, and that is okay. That's okay. Like I love that. Some women, like, they love being moms. Like that is literally their passion. That is literally what they feel like they were made to do, is just be moms. And then when their kids are older, it's like, wait, well, who am I if I'm not a mom? Well, you'll always be a mom, but it's just like, let's rediscover who you are as, you. So that's kind of what today's episode is going to be about. Nothing really like super juicy. Let's jump into navigating life with grown sons, what it's like to kind of like jump back into the dating life, and did I have this conversation with them? My first thing is like, how does it feel to raise your kids into adulthood? You are a young mom. I will tell you this. Seeing your kids develop their personalities is like probably one of the greatest things you could ever, just to be like, oh my God, I raised that. It's so funny because they adapt to your personality, they adapt to their surroundings. And then especially if they're a kid that grew up on YouTube, I feel like they take every personality that they're a fan of and they mush it into themselves, and it becomes like them. And it's fun. Like it's fun to see your kids grow up and develop these personalities and develop to the person that they are, that you raised, and hopefully you raise them to be, you know, a kind person. Usually like if your parents are really freeing and like they're really laid back and they're like just, you know, be you, I feel like kids grow up to be like very outgoing, free spirited, like speak their minds. But yeah, raising my boys into adulthood, it's so unreal because it's like, where did the time go? I'll look at old pictures of them and just be like, and just reminisce because it's like, oh my God, they are soon enough in a few years, they're going to start their own family and I'm going to be a grandma. I'm going to be a grandma. Look at me. I'm going to be a grandma. And I feel like I just don't look like a grandma. But I'm gonna be a grandma. I'm gonna be a great grandma. But I'm just like, what is happening right now? I don't know if I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. But again, it's not about me. I wasn't ready to have kids at 17, 18. But here we are, baby. We're thriving. Letting go of control and learning to love them from a distance. I don't think I was ever really controlling with the boys. Like, I feel like I was very much that mom. I feel like I was very much that mom who let them like be boys and run the streets and play. And I really feel like I wanted them to be as independent as much as possible because I wanted them to not be scared of the world. I wanted them to learn about interaction with people, and I wanted them to be able to know how to hold themselves as kids and as young adults. So the control is, I never really had control per se, you know. I think it was more of just like letting them discover who they are as people, and then and then just guiding them through those tough times and guiding them through the unsure times. I think that was it just worked for us. It just worked for us. I think that them trusting their own instincts and not running to be like, let me ask my mom, mom, what do I do? Or being scared to talk to strangers. If like I was like, go ask that waiter for a napkin or whatever, or can you go tell them that we need a to-go box, for instance, you know. I feel like that really made them independent little by little, and it made them have that intuition and develop that intuition of who's bad and who's not. So I really wasn't so much a helicopter mom or a very overprotective mom. When they were babies, yes. When they started developing personalities and they could actually speak, then yes, is when I started kind of letting the reins back, because obviously if they can't speak, I don't know what's going on and I don't want something to happen to them and I don't understand what happened. So yeah, I was pretty controlling I was pretty protective, I should say, when they were babies. But as they were able to actually speak and have conversations, it was a different game. It was a different ball game. And I feel like that was probably the best thing I could do, because they were able to develop those intuitions, develop their personalities, and, you know, and feel good about their decisions on the type of people they wanted to be. Sacrifices you made and how it shaped your identity. I think the sacrifices that I made as a young mom was actually, I didn't go to school. Like I went to alternative school. So I didn't get those same experiences. I didn't get that high school experience with friends. I didn't go to prom. I grew up, I got a job. I, was working at Kohl's. I was like 7 months pregnant doing a double. I was, you know, I made the sacrifices I needed to make because I chose to be an adult. So I think that those sacrifices and those experiences really shaped me to be a very strong person. But I also think that this was in my timeline to do and go through the things that I went through, because if I didn't, like, then who would I be? You know what I mean? Who would I be? I probably would have went to college. I probably would have got some degrees, and I don't know. That's a person I don't know. But I truly feel like this was in my cards for me, and I wouldn't change it because I feel like the experiences that I have now really shaped me and created the intuition, created the love that I give to people that I love. It like it shaped all of that, you know? And so I wouldn't change anything. I don't the sacrifices that were made were needed to be made because they were in my timeline all along. I think now that the boys are older, it's easier to, they say like when your kids get older, it becomes easier. I don't know if it becomes easier. I think that I think when they get older, you start to freak out a little bit more because they're out partying and you're home, and you know, the world's crazy, the world's scary, and I think you lose a little bit more sleep because they're grown-ups, you know, and they can, you know, go to parties, they can go to clubs, you know, they can go to lounges, they can, you know, go to concerts, and you know, you can only be like, I hope I've taught them everything I needed to teach them on how to protect themselves, how to get out when they need to get out, you know, all of that. I think like as I got older, I started really prioritizing, like after my marriage. I think I mean, when I was in my marriage, they were, you know, in middle school and stuff like that, and obviously they were in sports and school and all of that. But now that I'm no longer married and they are older and doing their own thing, I feel like I've prioritized my life to be available for them if they need me, but also kind of get back to who I am. You know, get back to who I am and what makes me happy. You know, what I don't have to worry about, oh, I need to go pick up my kids from school, or you know, whatever the case may be. You know, it's more grown up stuff, but you know, I think I think some moms can be a little bit scared of letting go of their kids because in their identity as a mom or as a person, they feel like that is who they are. I feel like they're scared to let that go, that let that piece of them go. You're always going to be needed for sure, but get back to who you are as a mom, get back to who you are as a person, and you know, start preparing for the next chapter of your life. You know, maybe your kids are going to college, maybe your kids are starting a career. Like you go through phases, like your kids go through phases in their life still. You know, you're going into retirement, or you can travel more. Now you can get yourself out there and date. I remember when I wanted to start dating, I had asked I asked the boys, like, how would you feel about, you know, me starting to date again? And my oldest was like, you a grown ass woman. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But who are you talking to? You know, they're still very protective. But, and I remember Aiden was like, that ain't none of my business. Like, that ain't none of my business. Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts, like, as a mother? Because I know I have um some subscribers on here that are mothers. Like, what is your biggest fear about, you know, your kids growing up and going out into the real world, and like, what's your biggest fear for them? Mine is just like, I feel like mine is like when they go to Deep Ellum in Dallas. I'm just like, even though I go, sometimes I even go by myself. And like I shouldn't go by myself, but like I'm just very much aware. That makes sense. And like they don't are not aware yet, or at least in my head that's what it is. So I'm still very much a mom, but what is your one fear, or what is something that you hope your kids, live by or develop or experience? Like, what is an experience you want your kids to have as they're growing up and becoming, grown-ups? Ugh, grown-ups. So let me know, drop a comment down below. That's my episode, guys. I hope you guys liked it. I feel like that was such a deep episode, but I just what I wanted to talk about. So, well, I think the wine is getting to me. Oh my God, have you guys listened to the new Lizzo album? She ate. Yitty on your titties. Oh my God. That's the jam. That is the jam. Oh my gosh. What? I'm looking for new playlists. I created a playlist. Didn't I tell you I created a playlist? I need to go see if anybody's even listened to it. But I want to create more playlists. But oh my God. But Lizzo's new album is so freaking good. And also I like Mike O'Leary's playlist. Oh my God, Mike O'Leary's playlist. He has like these Sunday reset playlists that you can get them on Spotify or YouTube. And love. Absolutely. I'm literally watching it right now. I have it in the background. Absolutely love, love, love. Whenever I'm cleaning, I will put that on. And he just like he DJs, and it's a good vibe. But you also know what I wanted to touch on? Oh my God. Okay, so in Dallas, they started doing this DD trail thing, aka the Katy Trail, which is the trail over here in Dallas. I believe it's uptown Dallas, where a lot of people run and ride bikes and stuff like that. This girl on TikTok, her name is Abby. She put together a singles like mixer, and it's called Dating Trail. How fucking catchy is that? Anyways, her first event, like, it was, the majority of it was women, but there was like, there wasn't a lot of guys that showed up. But there was women who still said they met like some really cool girls, and like they all like went to Berkeley's, which was like a bar, I believe, and was able to like hang out and talk to like their new people that they met or whatever. Anyways, she just had another one yesterday on Saturday, and 1,700 singles showed up. And like it's like all over my FYP on TikTok. Shout out to her. Like she yeah, I'm like jealous I didn't think about that. But I don't live close to the Katy Trail. So shout out to her, because putting something like that together is amazing. She got sponsors. They all met up at Tequila Social afterwards to grab a drink. Like, how it's like a fucking singles mixer. How fucking cool is that? Anyways, so many debriefings on the Dating Trail that a lot of people were like, I talked to a lot of people, or I didn't talk to anybody, but it was such a cool vibe. It was such a cool thing. Da, da, da. So how fucking cool is that? And they said that more men went. And I kind of want to go out there to just like ask single questions. Like, why are you single? How long have you been single? Da, 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 da. Like, I want to get in the biz. So I might reach out to Abby and be like, hey, can I come out and just like ask questions or whatever? Like, would you be okay if I like, interviewed some singles or whatever? Wouldn't that be cool? Anyways, yeah. So if you're in the Dallas area, definitely look up the Dating Trail on TikTok. Just search it up and you'll come across the coordinator, the event creator is Abby, and I would love to get involved with that. That is so fucking cool. Anyways, okay, that is my episode for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it wasn't such a downer, which it shouldn't be. Your mom being a mom is not a downer. Okay, anyways. Would y'all have kids after 30? Like, what is too late to have kids? Like, what is your age limit that you no longer want to have kids? Like, mine was 32. If I didn't have any kids after 30, if I didn't have any kids before 32, like, the kitchen was closed. The kitchen has been closed, baby. So what is y'all's cutoff age to have kids? Like, you know, a lot of women are like, I want to have kids before I'm 35 because they want that snapback, or they just want to, they don't want to be they don't want to be X amount of age, or what's the word? They want to be X age, or what's age of X? No. What's that word? I don't want to be this age. I guess that's what it is. I don't want to be this age when I have my kids. When they're 18, I don't want to be like 70, which is understandable, because then when they're old enough and then they have kids, you can't even fucking play around with your grandkids. So I get that. I feel like in our Hispanic culture, like, they always have kids young, and we're always the babysitters. So that happens to my mom, it's gonna happen to me. It's fine. But yeah, let me know what your cutoff age is. Mine was 32. Let me know. Anyways, all right, guys, I'm gonna chug my wine, and then I'm gonna edit, and I'm gonna eat something. Did I say that? I don't know. Anyways, I'll see you guys on my next video. Oh, and keep a lookout for the how I set up my podcast studio and the equipment. I'll have that coming out in a couple of days. So I'll see you in my next episode. Bye. I learned how to twerk, guys. I learned how to twerk. It might not be perfect, but it's perfect for me. I want to be a DJ. Maybe I just want to be in the DJ booth. For sure. The wine is getting to me. I want to go to the bar. I want to go to a bar. Maybe a lounge. Maybe I will twerk up and down. Maybe I will